have been looking at change management, but there are some pitfalls which we must avoid whenever we are in the change management situation. So let's remind ourselves one by one of those. Yeah. So number one, starting too late. Please reflect on this. Starting too late, not taking immediate actions, no urgency. Yeah, try to reflect on that. Starting too late. Pressure. So if you look at the first one, pressure to act quickly undermines values and cultures. So it will have some impact of on the values, traditions, cultures of the organization. It will impact that. Do you act quickly, swiftly, or you take your time to act on change situations? Leaders take drastic steps quickly with no time to explore alternatives. Please reflect on this. Leaders take drastic steps quickly with no time to explore alternatives. Values about participation, involvement, or concern for people disappear. Cynicism grows. Yeah, so please reflect on this important point of starting too late. Try to think about this. Leaders take drastic steps quickly with no time to explore alternatives. So the idea is that before you go in the change situation, you should foresee what are some of the changes in your industry, in your organization can come going forward, and then you explore your alternatives before you enter into that change situation. So if you have explored your alternatives before you are in the situation, then it is easier for you to act quickly, because for others you would be acting quickly, but for yourself you have taken the time and space to reflect on the alternatives, because you had already thought about what could happen, what could go wrong. You have already done your pre-mortem analysis. We all are aware of post-mortem. When someone dies, they do a post-mortem to identify what what went wrong. There is another interesting concept which is called pre-mortems. Yeah, so before the death, before something goes wrong, you analyze things, what can go wrong, and if you are able to do that, which is increasing your job demand, because you have to complete the things which you have to do, your day-to-day activities, and then you have to explore for alternatives. So please make a note of this first point: starting too late. Yeah, starting too late. On the other hand, if you start too early, then people would say that you did not think about, you did not spend time to think. There is a, you have to create a balance, what is right and what is wrong. Because let's say that if you if you start too late in anything in life and it does not give you the result which you wanted, you are going to blame yourself and others. Oh, I started too late. What if I had acted quickly? On the other hand, if you take a quick decision and it goes wrong, then you are going to blame yourself and others, and that this person acted too quickly, did not. So this is both ways. So you have to think about these alternatives. Maybe this is what they are saying: leaders take drastic steps quickly with no time to explore alternatives. So the idea is that in the times when change has not already happened, if you had the foresight, if you had the company of experienced people, if you reflected, if you were observant, and of course if you were lucky. Yeah, luck is also maybe, but that is up to you. If you think luck has any role to play, that is for you to think about. But you have to think about that. What is too late, what is too early. Yeah, this is and whatever you do, you act too quickly or you act late, if things don't happen the way you wanted them in the change situation, how you are going to comfort yourself and others? The blame games, what if, All those type of things, you need to think about it. From your own life, you should link it with this. Think about the situation where you acted quickly on the spot. You did not start late, but things did not happen the way you thought. And then maybe you were thinking and your friends were telling you, oh, if you would have waited, the outcome might have been different. Yeah. On the other hand, think about a situation in your life, personal, private life, at work, anything, you can, it doesn't matter, where you took the time, you went through, your take recommendations, consultations, all those type of things, and then it did not happen. So how do you deal with the aftermath? I think that is something you should think about, important to think about, because you don't know the outcome, what the outcome can be. You can just prepare and analyze. So you have to decide for yourself what would you want to do. But anyways, when you are looking at pitfalls, top 21s, as the heading says, they are saying that starting too late is kind of bad. Timing is everything. Yeah, so you have to think about that. Number two, no winning strategy. Yeah, it is linked with strategy. Try to reflect on that, the word in itself, strategy, strategizing. So the best change program in the world won't do any good if your organization does not have a strategy for getting it, uh, for getting where it wants to go. Yeah, the strategy. So what is strategy? Step by step, maybe planning, uh, essentially speaking, uh, different directions in the company, your objective, your goals, whatever they are, how you are going to reach them. So they are saying the best change program. So the program can be very good, exceptional exceptional change management program, exceptional change experts, consultants, your own experience. All those things can be at par, but the strategy of the organization, wherever it wants to go, if that step by step approach is not lined up, and that links with the first one, uh, where we were talking about, you know uh, what is too early, what is too late. That is part of your strategy, how much time you are going to take to deliberate on different alternatives if you have not thought about it before the situation. Because no matter how hard you think, no matter what you do, there are in life things are going to happen which you might not have thought about. It is just that the ratio of those things should be less. It should not be that there are so many things in the organization or in your personal private life which are happening which you never thought about it. That maybe says that you are not reflecting, you are not thinking. But every now and then there are going to be things which you never thought about. So with those also there should be some strategy, that if something happens in terms of change which you did not think about and you don't have a strategy for how to deal with them on the go, that is important pointer to reflect on. Number three, fanfare. Yeah, that is interesting word to reflect on. Big changes and new programs often are announced with big events, but then very little actually happens. Oh, this is when something starts, all the noise, all the excitement, uh, but as things proceed, and as you understand more the dynamics of the change, of the people involved, of the structures, processes, all those type of things, as you get more and more aware of them, as interactions increase, you try to know the real personalities, you try to know what they were hiding before, the promises which were made in the early days, when they are not being met, you get aware of those, the disappointments, your expectations not meeting, all those type of things. And I'm sure if you look back in your life, you can reflect on that. So the excitement wears down. And that is the general tendency of human beings also. It is just like, a gadget or something which you get new, which you want, anything you want in life. So anything you want and you have not yet achieved it or got it, there is different type of excitement for that. There is a surprise element of not knowing, which makes the things more interesting. But as you get the thing, then maybe you know that it's not that much of exciting thing, because you know that what you had to give for that, a lot of sacrifice needs to be given. So anyone might want, like, okay, they should get 90% score in all the 5 courses they are taking in the semester. Anyone would want that, but ask the person who really will get it or has gotten those scores. Because when you get those scores, there is a moment where you sometimes have that thinking, that was it worth it, because you had to forego all the parties, all the all the events where your friends invited you, all those type of things, you had to forego those because you are busy working on your coursework and preparing for finals and everything. So once you want it, it is different. Once you get it, it is different. Same way you should reflect on this first line of fanfare. Number 3, big changes and new programs often are announced with big events, but then very little actually happens. Yeah. The initial energy and enthusiasm fades. Specific changes are never identified, let alone implemented. Results are not realized. Managers do not adjust, or maybe something even better comes along, leading to a new launch with new fanfare. People don't take time to appreciate what they get. It is just like, you get a new model of a phone, and in 3, 4, 5 months another newer model of that phone comes, and then you are thinking about that newer model, not the ones which you got. Same thing happens with change. And with the best intentions in your heart and mind, this can happen with the best intention. No matter how much motivated you are, there are always some down moments. There are always some down moments. Something will happen every now and then. So you have to just manage your emotions. Very important. In the beginning, it's just like new relationships. Think about when you started any new relationship. The excitement, all night gone on the phone, and you feel that only half an hour gone. But after time, things sometimes change. Sometimes. For most of the people, things change. If you look at international data, for most of the people, very few people, things remain same for a longer period of time. For some, it is 1 year, some it is 2 years. Same thing with organizations, change efforts. So in the beginning, everyone want to change the things, and oh, we will break the status quo. We will have our own way of doing things. We will bring revolution, all those type of things. But as people go in the system, they understand that the people who are resisting them, the system is resisting them. You can think about, like, developing countries. Why developing countries remain developing countries? Because it is not that all the leaders are corrupt. There are some leaders, political leaders, who have good intentions. When they are making promises in the election campaign that they will do good, they will bring change, they have all the good intentions. But just understand that they are not in the power. Maybe it is first time that they became prime minister. So they don't have hands-on experience. And then everyone has their own agenda. There are so many different departments. So how to change them? They are going to resist. How the files will move? So even with best intentions, these things can happen. So at that time, a lot of dedication is involved. Great leadership qualities who can lift people when people are down. When people have seen that change will not happen, how to motivate them when people have seen it? When people have tried for 1 year, 2 year, and change is not happening. As a change manager, what are you going to tell them? You cannot make a promise in the future because they have seen it now. They have seen it, they have experienced it. What you going to, so that is why very important to understand that many times we give up very early. We need to understand that to bring change, it will require energy which is going to drain us. We need to understand that. So when we get drained, no energy, no enthusiasm, at that time, it is not the time to give up if you are really loyal to bringing change. If you are really loyal to bringing change. Otherwise, it was, you were just saying it maybe. You did not know yourself that you are really committed or not. And that happens, and nothing is wrong in that. No need to judge people. People want to create some change, and then some things happen and they cannot do it. All right, no problem. But the idea is that how early they say it. Do they say it on after 1 week, 2 week, 3 week? How much effort they have put in? It is just like some people say, oh, we are not mathematically inclined. We cannot do maths. I hear this a lot of times. That people, even small mathematical calculations, people are going to say, oh, we are not, maths is not our thing. Most of the time, it is a story which they have told themselves that maths is not for them. The question is that how much time they have spent with maths. That is the question. How much effort they have put without thinking that maths is not for them, with a balanced approach. Don't say maths is for you. Don't say maths is not for you. Just sit down with the book, with the question solution, and with neutral zone, not for, not against. Just give it a try with whole heart, with whole commitment that I'm going to give it my try, and then see what happens. The people who are good in maths, how they are good in maths. Why? Or anything. They have just practice again and again and again and again. That's what they have done. Yes, there would be some people who are like maybe genius, mathematically inclined, but and research proves it. You can look it up. That many skills, including mathematics, they can be learned. For some people, it might take a little bit longer because they have told themselves they cannot do it. But outside of it, maybe you can reflect in your own life and see, many things which you tell yourself, oh, I cannot do it. Oh, I cannot do it. Many times people are going to tell you, you cannot do it. Many times your family is going to tell you, your friends are going to tell you, your parents are going to tell you, your sisters, brothers, your lecturers are going to tell you, your colleagues are going to tell you, you are not good. This change will not happen. You have been hardly passing courses. You can't get an 80. So you have to be very mindful, like, what you put in your head. Very mindful. Very mindful. I'm not saying it is easy. No one is saying that change, any type of change would be easy. Bringing your score from 50 to 60 to 70, whatever. Changing your socioeconomic status. All these things are, hard. But if you are consistent, you have seen many people around us who have done these things. Yeah. So that story which you are going to tell you, coming from fanfare. Because think about fans also. Fans are also with you when you perform. Look at sports. So generally speaking, unless you are a die-hard fan, you want your sports people to perform also. In the stadium, if the sportsman is performing, only then the clapping and cheers are there. Very few fans are going to appreciate you when you are not performing. The same way in the change management in the organization, you should think about this. The initial energy and enthusiasm fades. Specific changes are never identified, let alone implemented. Please make a note of this. Specific changes. The change is not that I'm going to change the culture of the organization. That is wrong way to think about it. You have to be very specific, very specific. That in the culture, what I'm going to change. Yeah. Very specific. Results are not realized, and think about this. So in the beginning, when you are getting a lot of support for the change, you should not get too much enthusiastic, because that is how things start. Anything which you are beginning, anything, a lot of enthusiasm. If you remain successful, enthusiasm remains with you, support remains with you. But if you are not successful, then a lot of negative comments. So what I'm trying to say, when a lot of enthusiasm, positive comments are there in the beginning of the change, they should not take you to cloud nine, that you start thinking that wow, what you have started. Same way, if change don't happen as the way you thought about, and you are down and people are giving you negative comments, you should not tell yourself that you are not good. Yeah, provided that you have given your best. Yeah, so that is important, that your best. As a matter of fact, that is also wrong statement, that you need to give your best. As I reflect on this, I would like to take that back. It is not that you need to perform your best. You need to perform at the level which is required. If you don't have that level, then you have to improve yourself, because many times your best is not good enough. Number 4, employees hear it from the media first. That can be very lethal. That shows that you are not in control, you are not in charge, you don't know what you are doing, all those type of things. If that is the case, that you don't know, you should be able to say that, well, I don't know, to your colleagues, your whoever you are managing in the change situation. But that can be hard for some leaders, because if you say you do not know, people are going to perceive you in a different way. So you need to think about that. What is your strategy again for number 4? Journalists dig for information and items can run in the media before employees hear about them. Middle managers look dumb and uninformed. Employees feel insulted and left out. Yeah, so change situation. Grapevine is big thing, things travel. Things travel. People talk with people, you know. We need to think about that. No matter how confidential the information is, sometimes it gets out, because that is the job of journalists. Journalists, the job is to find information, so they are doing their job. You need to really think about that, how you are going to. It is linked with communication also. Reflect on that. Number 5, failure for a compelling urgent case for change. Compelling urgent case, try to link it with the earlier point which I mentioned, that the energy level is going to go down, enthusiasm is high in the beginning, it is going to start going down over a period of time. It is very hard to keep the enthusiasm at a high level all the time. It is hard. It is hard. Yeah, we are human beings. Should not ask ourselves of too much. There needs to be, we need to be recharged, rebooted. Yeah, we need that. So in that, think about this compelling, urgent case for change. So in the beginning, when the enthusiasm is high, so if you can create a compelling, urgent story, success story, it is going to definitely help you, because at that time they are, they have more energy and they have not seen the resistance yet. They will see in the future. But be mindful that don't make promises which you won't be able to keep. Trust is everything. Of course, you can break the trust and then regain the trust. It is possible, very possible. There are very good strategies that no matter who it is, you break the trust. If you use those strategies, you can win back the trust. It will take time sometimes. Sometimes it will take 1 year, 2 year. Sometimes it will take lifetime, because the trust you are going to gain from the person on this, many times there are stories that on their deathbed they will give you back the trust, that okay, I forgive you for that, on their deathbed. Sometimes that happens. So you might say it is of no good, yeah, but you can win back the trust. But the idea is not to lose it. Unnecessarily losing trust is not good. You have to think about that compelling, urgent case in the beginning. So most can be accomplished, and then having a strategy that when the resistance is going to come, how to deal with that. And as the time will pass and people will see that things are not working the way they thought, they start something today, and after 1 year they have a vision that okay, by 1 year we should have done this. But when they reach that 1 year, they see only 10% is being done, and then all the negative comments. A lot of commitment is needed to bring change, even small changes. What is obvious to the top may not be so obvious to other pivotal players. Please reflect on this line. How real and meaningful is the case for change? This is what I was essentially talking about. How real and meaningful is the case for change? One friend mentioned purpose, goal in one of the discussions, if you guys remember. So that is, purpose is meaning. So for yourself, the meaning of whatever you do in life, whatever you do, forget about change. Whatever you do, the closer or the better link you can make from that in terms of the meaning of that thing, why you are doing whatever you are doing, why you are doing it, the better you will be able to clear the obstacles once you know why you are doing it. Once it is clear for you that why you are doing a degree, bachelor's degree, once it is clear to you that why you are doing it, I promise you the scores are just going to go up, 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 because now you understand that why you are doing. Even a session, when you go to a class, if you have really thought that why you are doing and you want to go, now you understand that this is the reason I'm coming to UV or to online environment, whatever, once it is clear to you and it brings some meaning to you personally speaking, you're not doing it just for the sake of degree or whatever. Performance goes up. Same thing for the work. Whatever work you do, if you find some meaning in that work, performance is going to improve. So finding meaning is very important. That would come from reflection, understanding personality, and so on. So think about that. Failure to create a strong sense of urgency causes a change movement to lose momentum before it gets a chance to start. It's a golden line. Please make note of this. Failure to create a strong sense of urgency causes a change movement to lose momentum before it gets a chance to start. You need to give a chance to the change. Many times we give up very quickly, very quickly. We think that things should happen, quick. Things, people, we see other successful people and we say, oh boy, tomorrow I need to be, successful. Quick. Not saying that that is not possible. I'm not saying that. For some people, yes. But I was reading some article or listening to some interviewer, and I'm sure I told you this before, but it's coming to my mind again. So let me repeat it, even if I have said it before. So the interviewer was asking that some person got very successful, and they were asking, oh, you got overnight success, because people did not knew him before he came in limelight just overnight. So the interviewer asked the person, oh, you got overnight success, and the guy, his response, this beautiful response, he said that this overnight success me 20 years. So you know me now, but I have been working on my skills for last 20 years. But of course, for some people, it is not 20 years. It is early. Some people are lucky. Some people are, one friend mentioned networking. That is interesting point in last session. There are different things. But for general folk, need to think about it. You can't give up very easily. Establish a true sense of urgency without creating an emergency is the first objective achieved to overcome the routine of daily business. Yeah, please reflect on it. But again, I want to remind you that all these things which I am talking about, these are just a reminder to you and to myself also. Very easy to say these things, but practically to do them, it takes a lot of commitment and dedication, a lot. You have to give up so many things. Number 6, only focusing on rational elements. Yeah, this is interesting. Only focusing on. The focus needs to be diverse. Organizational change will be extremely difficult in most cases if managers rely only on making a case to the rational, analytical, problem solving side of the brain. Yeah, so there are things which, things happen in life and you say, oh, I can't make sense of this. Think about those situations which happen in your life. Something happened and you say, well, I don't know how this happened. Can't make sense of this. Same way it is going to happen in change. After all the planning, strategy, getting the right people, experience, at the end of the day, things are not going to happen the way you thought. And don't think that these people who are successful, even extremely successful, don't think that whatever they do they become successful in that. It is not that case. Think about the most successful person in the world. Most successful. Which business is most successful? Maybe Amazon is one of the big businesses. There are maybe others, but let's talk about Amazon's Honorable Jeff Bezos. Extremely talented guy, wonderful guy, no argument in that. People might like him, people might not like him. He's wonderful, he's great, very good. But is it the case that whatever he starts he's successful in that? I want to I want you to reflect on that. Is it the case? He's very rich, he's very resourceful, the world knows him. Is it the case that whatever he starts, he's successful in that? So what is that? Anything starting, that is a change. You want to start something and that is the idea and then you change it to something. Is it the case? Is Honorable Bill Gates that he starts whatever he starts, he is successful? Anyone, any sports person, anyone. If you look at their life, overall life, is it the case that whatever change they want to bring, they are successful in that? No. So even the most successful people, even the most resourceful people, they are also not 100% successful. So where does it take you and me? So all these pointers are that before you enter in the change, these pointers are not that you should not go in the change. You should go in the change with the right attitude, right mindset. So when people start giving you negative comments, you can tell yourself that nothing to worry. I'm going to overcome this. I have this. I know what this change situation is all about. You don't get, flustered when you are trying to change someone, your family member, your friend, or whatever. They are not giving you the positive feedback which you want. You don't get like, it's not going to happen. Before you can get buy-in, people need to feel the problem and be convinced it truly needs to be addressed. Please think about that. Before you can get buy-in, before people are with you, they need to really be convinced that this is important, this is needed. You need to really spend time to convince other people. This is very important. Otherwise, Number 7, not dealing proactively with resistance. Proactive resistance. It's not possible to be aware of all resources of resistance to change. Expecting that there will be resistance to change and being prepared to manage it is a proactive steps. People who are close to you, they are going to resist you. And that is going to be hard. Because other people, you are not emotionally, connected with them. So even if they say, oh, whatever they say, you care to a certain limit. And after that, you don't really, care. People you don't know, generally speaking. Not saying that it will not have any impact, it will have impact. But when you compare the negative comments of people you don't know and people you are emotionally involved with, it's a total different game. Because you are expecting support and that type of environment from friends and family and close people and whatever. So when they are going to resist and they are going to tell you that it is not going to happen, how you are going to deal with that? So I want to go back to the what story you tell your mind. That is very important. What are you telling yourself every now and then, every day? Think about your thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, what are you thinking? What is the thought? And try to look your thoughts. You would see that it is the same thoughts you are getting again and again and again and again, day after day, generally speaking. You can make a log. When you wake up, what thoughts come to your mind? What thoughts come to your mind? And then next day, what thoughts? What are the things you are thinking more about? And what are those? Positive, negative? Is there hope in those thoughts, or is it that is some negativity? Are they positive? All those type of things. because that plays a lot of role in change management. I was reading this book, and they were saying that the stories you tell yourself, very important. The stories you tell yourself, the type of people you hang out with, and what they say to you, very important. Although you might say that, oh, I don't take peer pressure, and I make my own decision. And that is true to a good extent. Also, some people don't take certain habits of their friends, any bad habit. Your peer might have some bad habit, and you might not have it. Yeah, so that is fine. That is possible. Your friends consume ganja, and you don't, assuming that it is a good thing not to have ganja. So that is possible, but that is different. What I am trying to say is words, what words they tell you, because you can't escape words. In the first or second session, our friend in the front, he mentioned the conscious and unconscious. If you guys remember that, conscious and subconscious, all the things you are hearing, they might not be affecting you now, but everything is going in the unconscious, and the impact of those words happen in the sleep, when we all sleep, and all of us sleep, so we don't even know, and that is happening, and there is research on that. You can look it up and read that what is that. Yeah, so think about that. So not dealing proactively with resistance. It's far better to anticipate objections than to spend your time putting out fires. Knowing how to overcome resistance to change is a vital part of any change management plan. Understand people are going to resist you. You yourself are going to resist. Forget about other people. You yourself are going to tell yourself, oh, you know, maybe I should stop it. Maybe I cannot do it. Maybe I don't have resources. Maybe I don't have this. And all of that is true. All of that, I'm not saying that. But as we just spoke about Honorable Jeff Bezos, Amazon guy, you can please run the search on internet how he started his business. From one desk, from one laptop, and the desk was too shabby, and the chair was too shabby, and the laptop, the computer was just disastrous, looking very bad. The pictures are on the internet. They are not fake pictures. You can look back his past interviews, where he was telling a story that this is my story, this is what I am going to do, and people were saying this is not possible. What are you saying? He paid the price. Nothing came easy. He paid the price, but he was very much interested in what he was trying to change. He was very much interested. His passion was 10 out of 10, and over a long period of time, because our passion is also in many things 10 out of 10, but consistency, that's very important. In the long run, you can do that. And what I really want to tell you today is that all of us who are in this room, and who are not even in this room, who did not come or whatever, all of us have something, which we can find some meaning. And it does not have to be studies. If it is not studies, it is not studies. All of us don't have to do masters or PhD. All of us does not have to become entrepreneur. All of us does not have to do anything. Everyone is different. But what is important, that you need to find something which is of meaning for you, because in any profession, any job, no matter what you are doing, obstacles are going to come. Resistance is going to come. In that time, the more the commitment, the meaning, the purpose is there, it will become a little easier. Not that it will be a walk in the park. Still, it is difficult to really achieve substantial change. Substantial change I'm talking about. So that is why I think some reflection needs to happen at this stage, which I'm sure you are going to do in your own time, especially in the context of last session, where one of our colleagues brought the discussion of what are we going to do post COVID, what jobs we are going to find, how we are going to be employable, all that conversation. Number 8, assume everyone's reaction to be like yours. That is not possible. But many times we think like that. Do not expect that everyone's reaction will be even remotely like yours. Even remotely. Think about that. Even remotely. People are thinking different things. Right now, it is a very big possibility that, someone can think that, oh, I don't want to listen to this. I want to know, what is coming in the final exam topics or whatever. It's a possibility. So everyone's reaction is not same. Do not expect that everyone's reaction will be even remotely like yours. Think about that. Regardless of the catalyst of the change, it will be your employees who determine whether it successfully achieve its desired outcome. Organizations don't change. People do, or they do not. And very hard to change people. Even to yourself, very hard. So you need to think about habits. Any new habit you are developing now? Any new habit? Good way to manage change is to think about that. Would you want to continue this habit or not? What is your association with that habit? Are you taking it too far that it becomes a habit for you? Please reflect on that. Number 9, lack of communication. Change management communications need to be targeted to each segment of the workforce and delivered in a two-way fashion that allows people to make sense of change subjectively. Two-way communication. So I might very well be thinking that I am communicating with you guys. You are understanding what I am trying to say. You are understanding my underlying emotion or desire to share it with you, whatever. That is what I might be thinking. But it's not. It might not be true. It might be, it might not. So in the change effort, you might be thinking in the organization that you communicated with them, you have told them what needs to be done, you have told them verbally, you have told them in a written format, you have done the thing, and now they should just follow the instruction. And when they will not follow the instructions, you will get anxious, mad, sad, whatever. That is important to bring them on board. Need to make them understand that they understand that this is really needed. They are not doing it because other people are telling them to. They are doing it because they understand that it needs to be done. That is a leader, that is the leader who makes people understand that that's a very good leadership skill. Because if people understand that this needs to be done, then your job as a change manager or leader, change leader, it becomes a little bit easier because people are taking ownership. Please think about that. Number 10, not enough leadership. That's a good point. Leaders often focus too much on management and too little on leadership. Management tools are easier to learn, that leadership, as it springs from qualities. There are more management tools than leadership tools available to the manager. One of the most effective leadership tools is storytelling. And I just spoke about that what are the stories you are telling yourself? Tell yourself good stories. Life will change. People you want to change, tell them good positive stories. They will change. Learn the art of storytelling. It is going to help you tremendously in your personal private life and also professional life. Anywhere you go. Story. How compelling is the story? Number 11, ignoring current corporate culture. Ignoring current corporate culture. Status quo, how things were done before you. You can't ignore it. Reflect on that. The current culture of organization, you can't ignore it. And look at the dilemma. You are there to change, but you can't ignore how things were done before. Try to think about something simple, like you are a simple thing, like in the times to you should think in your own time. I don't want to give example. Try to think about simple thing from your life which became culture of you. For example, any simple thing like waking up, staying up late, and that becomes a culture. And now someone tries to wake you up early. So yes, of course, it is beneficial to wake up early and everything, all those type of things. But it cannot be ignored that you have developed a habit of waking up a little late. So in the communication, there should be some conversation about that also. Even a simple thing like this, uh, staying up late in the night and waking up, of course, late or something like that. For the person who sleeps early and wakes up early, for them, it might be very easy to tell you, oh, it is easy to wake up early. Why can't you go to bed early? Just go to bed early. You will be able to wake up early. It's very easy for them because they have been doing this. Don't do that when you are in that situation. Understand the other person, what is their culture now. You might not agree with that. So for example, parents, children are staying up late, waking up late, all that type of thing. And they say, oh, wake up early. And assume that it is easy. It is not easy. They have developed a habit. For some person, maybe it is easy, but I'm talking in a general sense. And you can have your own example if this one does not make sense. So whatever your culture is, whatever your way of doing thing is, don't think that all other people should follow that. Or when you are trying to bring them towards you, towards the change you think is right, don't think that they should be able to switch very easily. Even if it is easy, even if it is easy for you, not for them. Understand, it can be very simple things in life, very simple things. Change in organizations is challenging, but perhaps the most daunting is changing culture. Change can only occur when people realize and recognize that their current organizational Culture needs to transform in order to support the organization's success and progress. Please make note of when people realize and recognize. Yeah. Without that, number 12, failure to grasp and shape the informal organization. Informal organization, that is very interesting point to think about. There is a formal and there is informal. Organizations usually have networks and coalitions of people that are not visible on the formal organization charts. These networks and coalitions help shape opinion, grapevine, things spreading from one department to another. Yeah, they can either accelerate or retard change. Ignoring or circumventing these groups can result in actual resistance. Just pay attention to this second last line. They can either accelerate or retard change. So please note that these informal organization can also help you to accelerate change. So you want to use that in your own advantage. Yeah, think about that. That is where networking comes. That is where knowing people by their name anywhere you go. But that takes time. Like for example, you would go on campus, many people who are, maybe you deal with them or whatever, you don't know them by name, or you just pass through them, or you know a simple thing, like a simple thing, this, let's think about something simple. A simple thing like, on campus, the most likely, you would be buying your, snacks, or these are small shops on campus. I should not say them even shops. The small spots where vendors are there with their little, something of wood, and they have things on that. Generally speaking, we don't ask them what is their name, but imagine that you ask them what is their name, and and you memorize it, and when you go again, you call them by name when you ask them for something. So you say whatever the name is, let's say the name is David. You say, David, give me one banana chips, or something, whatever you want. Yeah, and then you pay. You are creating an informal, you are dealing with informal organizational culture. So if campus is the organization, those type of people are informal. And over a period of time, whenever you go, and one day you go for your banana chips or whatever, and then you check your pocket and you are short of some money, or you did not bring money, and you tell David that, David, I forgot money, and he knows that you come there all the time, and it is banana chips or whatever, it's not something. The chances is that he's going to give you than a person who does not have those type of relationship with them. Like, it's a chance. He might not even give it to you. It depends on his personality and what has been happening throughout. But the chance is, there is a chance, and life is about chances. Even in this guide which I am going through, they mentioned in one of the points that you increase the chance of success in the change. You are just increasing the chance. So these simple steps you do. And then if there are 5 vendors on campus where you go and you know all of their names and you have been networking with them, and the day when you forgot to bring your money, if David does not give you for some reason, there are 4 others. One of them, I am sure, is going to give you. But you should experiment it, but you have to experiment in a genuine way. It is that, do you really want to ask that person's name? Are you really interested in knowing about his life or whatever? Generally, people are not. And then that same things happen in the organizations. When we go in the organization, when you will start working, the person who come and clean your floor, office floor, or who fill the water tank, or these type of jobs, most people don't know their names. But if you get into that habit of genuinely knowing, this genuine networking, I have seen other people to have a lot of advantage of that. I have observed that people who do that, they get a lot of benefit of doing these type of things. Number 13, not involving the employees. Leaders must actively involve the people most affected by the change in its implementation. This will help ensure employees at all levels of the organization embrace the proposed change. It is in some way it is linking with the earlier points which I have mentioned. Yeah, involve people, make them understand why it is important. And then the dilemma is that to involve it takes time, because if you want to involve someone, you have to tell them all the story, and then they will have some questions, and then you have to answer all those questions, and they will have more questions, and you will get anxiety, and you will say, what is this? They are just asking questions, and even after all that they will say, well, we don't think it should be done like that. Now think about coronavirus. Different countries have their own strategies. A majority of the countries in the world are appealing to their people, please stay in, please keep distance, please don't do this, please don't do that, whatever. And people are doing some things and not doing others. And when it reaches to a big number, then everyone start panicking, and then they have to do it. On the other hand, there are some countries like China, they are not going into the discussion mode. They are just telling the people, just do this, that's it. And if they are not doing it, they just make them do it. So both are change. So you can see different models of managing coronavirus. That is a good example to reflect on. But then if you ask the people who are ruled, like in those type of countries, they would have a little bit, they might not even say, but they will have a little bad feeling about the about the rulers. So that is for you to decide as a change manager. Are you going to involve people, make them understand, or do all that hard work, or you are going to just tell them to do what needs to be done, and just that type of culture you want to. Both both have their negatives and positives. It is more about your personality as individual, that what is your personality and what is your style as a leader, as a change manager, as a change agent, whatever way you want to look at. Number 14, over reliance on structure to change behavior. Structure, systems, over reliance. Yeah. Structural and systems changes help create a new context and orientation, and they have the surface appeal of being visible and fast. But people do not become different just because you put them in a new context. Please make note of this. People do not become different just because you put them in a new context. People don't become different just by that. Structures and systems by themselves don't change people behavior or give them new skills. Motivation, I think. Motivating, not getting demotivated more than motivating others. So one thing is motivation. One thing is not getting demotivated. Reflect on these two, you know. So in these situations, I think the skill or quality of not getting demotivated is more important than motivating. So you just don't get demotivated. but everyone gets demotivated at some point in time. You just have a bigger tolerance. You don't get demotivated very easy. You have that persistence. Think about that. Very interesting point. Number 15, ignore decision driven versus behavior dependent change. Behaviors linked with the habits, behaviors, habits. Think about that. Reaching new goals require a mix of decisions and behavior change. Decisions concern such things as market position, alliance, product lines. Behavior change asks people to act differently, gain new skills, or shift the organization culture. Getting people to change their behavior requires a different mindset and a different set of leadership skills than making decisions about strategy. Think about this. Getting people to change their behavior requires a different mindset. Why should someone change their mindset? Just because you are saying something. Why should someone? But that's what we feel. When we tell someone to do something, we just feel that they should be doing that because we know that we are right, we are smart, and we are not saying something bad. But the question is that why someone should change their mindset, their habits, the way they have been doing things, just because you are saying it. It's not about you are right or wrong. Why should someone change their behavior? Do you have gained that currency over a period of time because of your personality, because of your goodwill, because of your gaining trust, whatever you want to call it? Do you have that currency which you are going to use to change people's mindset? Do you have that? If you have that, then it will become easier. If you don't have that, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter that what you are saying is right. It doesn't matter because the other person does not know that it is right or whatever. He has his own thinking. Even you don't know what he thinks. So to change their mindset, to bring them on your side, you would need currency. That currency is called trust. They should trust you. They should look up to you in a positive sense. They should know that you are not going to tell them which is not of benefit for them. That relationship, when that will come, maybe you can have some change of mindset. Yeah, maybe. Even then, maybe. Yeah. But if you don't have that, then why someone else just should change? That's doesn't happen like that. But we all of us think like that. All of us, generally speaking. When we tell someone to anyone, we feel that they should think like that. But just understand that it is not necessary. There are going to people who are not going to agree with you no matter how sense you make. You make 100% sense. For some people, you are not going to make sense. They just don't like you, maybe. They don't like your face. That is what it is. It is not good thing, but think about it in your life. Is it just do you know any people you don't just like their vibe? You don't like their vibes. When they come close, you just you want to go away. So you have to think about that. You don't you they annoy you or something like that. Their aura is not, you don't. On the other hand, there are some people you just like them without any reason. You just like them for whatever your preference is. Okay? Think about that. Number 16, lack of skills and resources. Business changes call for the right skills and resources. Organizations often simply fail to commit the necessary time, people, and resources to make change work. Please make note of this. Organizations often simply fail to commit the necessary time, people, and resources. Paradox is that successful behavior change often demands the very skill the change is trying to create. Beautiful line. Make note of that. Skills. And try to link it with the discussion last week. COVID-19, employability, graduation, what skills are required, how to gain those skills and stuff like that. Should think about those things. Number 17, focusing only on the long term. Large scale organizational change is a long process. Break down your vision into smaller short term goals and communicate short term successes at each opportunity. So you have a long term goal, you need to, whatever, but you need to celebrate each moment, celebrate each little progress you make towards your goal. Yeah, celebrate it. Tell yourself that you are on the right track. Yeah. But don't, like, celebrate does not mean that you celebrate in the way that game is over. Just tell yourself that you are a step closer. Yeah, a little. That is important, that to tell yourself and others that you are in the right direction. You are moving in the you are making some progress. That is important. So that is linked even with the next point, number 18, failing to plan small successive successes. Yeah, so you don't, it's not just the long run where eventually you will graduate with the GPA of 4.1, 4.2. Yes, that is the goal. But every little success, every little success, that is important to keep you rejuvenated. Yeah, that is very important. Yeah. An important part of sticking to the vision is to create opportunities to achieve smaller goals along the way. These will not only work directly towards achieving the desired change, but will create positive feelings of accomplishment and the drive to pursue the next goal. Make note of these 2 points. This will create positive feelings, yeah, feelings, and the drive to pursue the next goal. The drive, because your gas is gone down, that your gas, the tank would get fill up again, that drive. So this is just one strategy, that you have small successive successes, but essential idea is that you just need to do whatever needs to be done to create positive feelings and the drive to pursue the next goal. Number 90, using the wrong indicators to measure progress. Yeah, key performance indicators. Yeah, that is important. When a major change effort gets underway, executives often are scared off by the symptoms of their success. Don't panic if you see problems towards morale, job stress, loyalty, the trust level, or job satisfaction. So they are saying, do not panic. I think I have exaggerated on those points earlier also. It would be proof that you are doing precisely the right thing. So don't panic. Just understand that this is the nature of change. Number 20, assuming change is done once, initial goals are achieved. If you declare victory too soon, the focus will be taken away from your efforts, and all traces of your hard work could soon disappear. So although there is one point that you should enjoy or celebrate small successes, you need to ensure that you don't just declare the victory as you are enjoying. You don't give that sense. So it is like you are scoring in coursework, you get 37, 35, something like that out of 40, and you say, well, you have done it and you are having fun. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. You have 60% more. You don't know what is going to happen. You might get 10% and you just struggle to. That's not going to happen. I'm just, making a point. On the other hand, it might be the case that out of 40%, you have like 15, 20, 22, and you are down. No, you have 60%. So in the long, don't celebrate unless it is don't like have a little celebration. Don't declare victory in that sense. Don't celebrate in the sense of victory, in the sense of having a relaxed, approach that you have done it. It's over. No, because it's not over until it's over. There is a big famous saying in that. Successful companies consistently reevaluate their change effort to determine where other areas can be improved, such as whatever. So no matter how successful the companies are, there are always some areas of improvement. We spoke about Amazon a while ago, so let's talk about them for a brief moment. Is it the case that Jeff Bezos has taken retirement and he's saying, all right, let me just relax. I am the richest man in the world. Game is over. Is it that case? No, it is not that. It is not that at all. Is Amazon stop doing any type of work and any type of improvement in works and just say, okay, all right, we have perfected the system. We can just relax now. No, they are always trying to find new ways, new techniques for improvement. But on the way, they are celebrating their successes. So that is what the point is. You celebrate successes, but always on the lookout for improvement. Number 21, excessively open-ended process. Very interesting. Achieving fundamental change in an organization is at least a 2 to 3 years process. Understand this, at least a 2 to 3 year process. So before the change effort, you need to ask yourself, do you have the gas for 2 years, 3 years? If you don't have the gas, how are you going to fill up your gas once it is over after 2 months, then it is over after 3 months, whatever, where are you going to get that motivation? So in that time, if you really have the meaning of the change, really committed to that, you might see a little taste of success. Because even with all the commitment and all the right resources, it is just the nature of change that it drains us. Because it is asking us to do things differently, it is asking others to do things differently. There is resistance, it just drains us. And generally people give up after 2 months, 6 months. It is a long time. After 1 year, no progress, people give up because they don't understand. They went into change with wrong perception, wrong expectation. They thought that, oh, I know everything about change. I am going to just do this, yeah, and I will be successful. Sometimes it can happen. Most times it does not. Look at the last line. But organizations often run out of energy or lose focus after 9 to 15 months. It's a long-term game. So even with yourself, any change you want to bring in yourself, you need to really think about that. You really have to think about that. If things are not changing in your life, in your private personal life, the things you wanted to change, if those things are not changing, If people are not changing the way you want them to change, your friends, family, anyone, your loved ones, there is nothing to worry about. The question is that how committed you are to change them. That is the question. If you are really committed, it will take time, but you have decent chances of getting successful in achieving change. Not 100%, not 90%, because generally speaking, 70% of the change efforts fail. We need to keep that in mind. That is what I wanted to conclude on. I hope it makes sense. So try to reflect on these pointers in your own time. And thank you again for listening. Yeah.